Hello and welcome to Quiz Time. My name is Dave. I will be your host today. And we have 100 great questions taking us back to the 1960s. How well do you know the 60s? Well, we're about to find out. What was the Boeing 747 nicknamed? Old Shaky, Jumbo Jet, or Big Bird? Jumbo Jet. What was the name of the first weather satellite? Tyros 1, Vanguard 1, or Nimbus 1? Tyros 1. What medals did Tommy Smith and John Carlos win consecutively at the 1968 Summer Olympics? Gold and gold, gold and silver, or gold and bronze? Gold and bronze. What video game was developed in 1962 by Steve Russell and his team at MIT? Pong, Space Wars, or Space Invaders? Space War. Who wrote the book The Feminine Mystique? Betty Friedan, Shirley Grisholm, or Gloria Steinem? Betty Friedan. Where was the Stonewall Inn located? California, New York, or Texas? New York. True or false? James H. Meredith was the first African American student to integrate an all-white elementary school in the South. That's false. It was Ruby Bridges. Which muscle car was introduced by Ford in 1964? Ford Thunderbird, Ford Mustang, or Ford GT40? Ford Mustang. Who became the leader of the Soviet Union in 1964? Yuri Andropov, Nikita Khrushchev, or Leonid Brezhnev? Leonid Brezhnev. Which river in Ohio caught fire in 1969? Ohio River, Cuyahoga River, or the Sandusky River? The Cuyahoga River. What was the I Have a Dream speech location? King Solomon Baptist Church, Parsons Theater, or the Lincoln Memorial? The Lincoln Memorial. Who created the pop art Campbell soup cans? Andy Warhol, Jackson Pollock, or Roy Lichtenstein? Andy Warhol. Who is the author of the novel on which 2001: A Space Odyssey is based? Arthur C. Clarke, Philip K. Dick, or Isaac Asimov? Arthur C. Clarke. Which British band made their US debut on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964? The Beatles. Which legislation signed into law in 1964 aimed to end racial segregation in the United States? Brown v. Board of Education, Civil Rights Act, or Voting Rights Act? Civil Rights Act. Which U.S. unit was named the Walking Dead during the Vietnam War? 9th Marines, 1st Cavalry Division, or 9th Infantry Division? 9th Marines. Who won the 1969 Best Best Actor Oscar: Peter O'Toole, Richard Burton, or Cliff Robertson? Cliff Robertson. True or false? Roger Maris hit his 61st home run in the last game of the 1961 season. That's true. Which of these movies was directed by Alfred Hitchcock? The Birds, Hour of the Wolf, or Rosemary's Baby? The Birds. Which doctor and his team performed the world's first heart transplant surgery in 1967? Christian Barnard, Jonas Stock, or Albert Schweitzer? Christian Barnard. How many African countries got independence from France in the 1960s? 9, 11, or 14? 14. Which company released the audio cassette that was invented in 1963? Sony, Philips, or Panasonic? Philips. Who was the President of the United States during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962? John F. Kennedy. Who was the first channel to have color in the UK? BBC Two, BBC One, or ITV? BBC Two. Who was the co-founder and first editor of Rolling Stone magazine? Hunter S. Thompson, Lester Bangs, or Ralph J. Gleason? Ralph J. Gleason. Which spacecraft was the first to take images of a planet from deep space? Mariner 3, Mariner 4, or Mariner 5? Mariner 4. Who won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1969? Samuel Beckett, Albert Camus, or Jorge Luis Borges? Samuel Beckett. True or false? Doctor Who started in the 1960s. That's true. What was the result of the first Super Bowl between the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs? 29-8, 35-10, or 38-17? 35-10. Which of these countries abolished the death penalty for murder during the 1960s? United Kingdom, United States, or France? United Kingdom. Who was George Blake? A German Nazi leader, an American nuclear scientist, or a British double agent for the SU? A British double agent for the SU. Who co-founded the Black Panther Party with Huey P. Newton in 1966? Bobby Seale, Eldridge Cleaver, or Stokely Carmichael? Bobby Seale. Who became the first ape going to space in the Mercury Redstone 2 launch vehicle? Enos, Ham the Chimp, or Albert II? Ham the Chimp. Where did the Big Freeze of 1963 take place mainly? UK, USA, or Russia? UK. Which rock band had the 1967 album named Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band? The Who, Led Zeppelin, or the Beatles? The Beatles. What did the March from Montana, led by Jeanette Rankin, protest? Climate change, the Vietnam War, or the civil rights? The Vietnam War. Which American boxer refused to be drafted into the military during the Vietnam War? Muhammad Ali. What was Corona? First navigational satellite, first communication satellite, or first spy satellite? First spy satellite. Where was Barack Obama born? Honolulu, Lahaina, or Wailuku? Honolulu. Who led the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom? Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, or Rosa Parks? Martin Luther King Jr. What show did Johnny Carson host during the 1960s? The Late Late Show, The Tonight Show, or 60 Minutes? The Tonight Show. Who is among the writers of the cookbook Mastering the Art of French Cooking? Gordon Ramsay, Julia Child, or Jamie Oliver? Julia Child. True or false? The coding language acronym BASIC stands for Basic Algorithmic Symbolic Instruction Code. False. Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. Which of the following was not a Bob Dylan album? Five Leaves Left, Blonde on Blonde, Highway 61 Revisited. Five Leaves Left. Where was the Walmart store opened? Illinois, California, or Arkansas? Arkansas. In which country was Josip Broz Tito appointed president for life in 1963? Yugoslavia, Romania, or Hungary? Yugoslavia. Which famous U.S. prison was shut down during the 1960s? Alcatraz. Which of the following songs start with "Come Gather Round, People"? Blowin' in the Wind, The Times They Are A-Changin', or Imagine? The Times They Are A-Changin'. How many unarmed Vietnamese civilians were killed in the My Lai massacre? Approximately 500, approximately 300, or approximately 600? Approximately 500. Who sang Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini? Connie Francis, Bobby Darin, or Brian Hyland? Brian Hyland. Which of these psychological experiments happened in the 1960s? Stanford Prison Experiment, Stanley Milgram Experiment, or the Monster Study? Stanley Milgram Experiment. Who did Elizabeth Taylor get married to in 1964? Richard Burton, Eddie Fisher, or Michael Wilding? Richard Burton. What was the title of the first James Bond film that was released in 1962? Thunderball, Goldfinger, or Dr. No? Dr. No. Which South American country had a military uprising leading to the rise of General Juan Carlos Onganía to power? Brazil, Argentina, or Chile? Argentina. After defeating who did Muhammad Ali become the heavyweight champion of the world in 1964? George Foreman, Joe Frazier, or Sonny Liston? Sonny Liston. Where did France conduct nuclear tests in the Pacific Ocean in the 1960s? Mururoa Atoll, Bikini Atoll, or Marshall Islands? Mururoa Atoll. True or false? Martin Luther King was a Baptist minister. True. Which Olympic Games were the first to be televised live internationally? 1968 Summer Olympics, 1964 Summer Olympics, or 1960 Summer Olympics? 1964 Summer Olympics. Where did Che Guevara die? Argentina, Bolivia, or Cuba? Bolivia. Which of these famous figures passed away in the 1960s? Jimi Hendrix, Alan Freed, or George Orwell? Alan Freed. What race did Mario Andretti win in 1969? Monaco Grand Prix, Le Mans 24 Hours, or Indianapolis 500? The Indianapolis 500. What caused Marilyn Monroe's death? Barbiturate overdose, car accident, or heart attack? Or barbiturate overdose. For how many years did Barbados remain a British colony until it gained eternal autonomy in 1961? About 270 years, about 334 years, or about 189 years? About 334 years. Which two countries fought in the Sino-Indian War? China and India. Who was the Prime Minister of Japan during the 1964 Summer Olympics held in Tokyo? Hayato Akeda, Eisaku Sato, or Kakui Tanaka? Hayato Ikeda. On which show did the Beatles have their first nationwide TV appearance in the UK? Top of the Pops, The 625 Show, or The Morecambe and Wise Show? The 625 Show. What was the name of the famous freeze-dried instant coffee that gained popularity in the 1960s? Nesquik, Folgers, or Taster's Choice? Taster's Choice. True or false? Winston Churchill did a major cabinet reshuffle that the press named the Night of the Long Knives. False. Harold Macmillan. Which of these bands was formed before the other two? The Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd, or Led Zeppelin? The Rolling Stones. In which submersible did Navy Lieutenant Donald Walsh and Jacques Piccard descend to the bottom of the Mariana Trench? Alvin, Trieste, or Deep Sea Challenger? Trieste. Where was Martin Luther King Jr. buried? Washington, D.C., Memphis, or Atlanta? Atlanta. Who popularized the twist dance and had a hit song with it in the early 1960s? Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry, or Chubby Checker? Chubby Checker. Operation Pluto was the code name of which event? The D-Day landings, the Bay of Pig invasion, or the Battle of Stalingrad? The Bay of Pigs invasion. Who initiated the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution in China? Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping, or Jiang Zemin? Mao Zedong. Which 1967 documentary film captures Bob Dylan's tour of England? No Direction Home, Don't Look Back, or Festival? Don't Look Back. What coin was demonetized at the end of the 1960s? Farthing, halfpenny, or shilling? Farthing. Who wrote the classic science fiction novel Dune? Arthur C. Clarke, Philip K. Dick, or Frank Herbert? Frank Herbert. True or false? In 1960, the Walk of Fame received its first stars. That's true. Which of these toys was introduced in the 1960s? Etch-a-Sketch, Silly Putty, or Pet Rock? Etch-a-Sketch. Slugbug was a slang word in the 1960s for what? Volkswagen Beetle, troublemaker, or something that's boring? A Volkswagen Beetle. Which country was named Northern Rhodesia before 1964? Malawi, Zambia, or Zimbabwe? Zambia. What was the Canadian flag before 1965? Grand Union flag, Lunifolie, or Canadian Red Ensign? Canadian Red Ensign. Which breakfast cereal brand features Lucky the Leprechaun as its mascot? Trix, Lucky Charms, or Cap'n Crunch? Lucky Charms. When did Yuri Gagarin orbit the Earth? 1961, 1965, or 1963? (1961). Who popularized the beef Wellington dish? Justin Wilson, Julia Child, or Alice Waters? Julia Child. What was the name of China's first atomic bomb? Miss Q, the east wind, or red star? Miss Q. What did Clarabelle the Clown from Howdy Doody say in the last episode in 1960? Goodbye, kids. Who developed the beehive haircut? Vidal Sassoon, Andre Corregis, or Margaret Vinci Helt? Margaret Vinci Helt. What was the first message sent using the ARPANET in 1969? Hello, lo, or lo and behold? Lo. Who are the architects of the Post Office Tower in London? G.R. Yeats, Eric Bedford, Charles Correa or Raj Rule, or Norman Foster, Richard Rogers? G.R. Yeats and Eric Bedford. Which of the following was not a chancellor of West Germany during the 1960s? Ludwig Erhard, Helmut Schmidt, or Willy Brandt? Helmut Schmidt. Which of the following are actual shoes from the 1960s? Flapper shoes, Art Deco boots, or go-go boots? Go-go boots. True or false? John F. Kennedy is the youngest person ever elected U.S. president as of 2023. That's true. What did Robert Frost win in 1960? Nobel Prize in Literature, Congressional Gold Medal, or Pulitzer Prize for Poetry? Congressional Gold Medal. Which of these animated sitcoms debuted in the 1960s? The Simpsons, South Park, or the Flintstones? The Flintstones. What did John Lennon return as a protest to the British government's support of the Vietnam War? An Emmy Award, MBE Medal, or the Brit Award? MBE Medal. From where was the band The Easy Beats who sang the 1966 song Friday on My Mind? Australia, United Kingdom, or United States? Australia. What year marked the start of Berlin Wall construction? 1961. What jelly is used in the cocktail meatballs? Strawberry jelly, grape jelly, or orange marmalade? Grape jelly. Where did the most powerful earthquake in recorded history with a magnitude of 9.5 happen? Chile, Indonesia, or Alaska? Chile. And that was our last question. How well did you know the 1960s? Add up your score, put them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time on Quiz Time.